before I started, I had like a free trial. So I started off, I did like a spin the wheel, and I did like, it was like 30 participants that entered, and those 30 people, I gave them, credit repair, trade lines, whatever. It was just to get some type of testimonials. And then I started to see like all those people started getting results. All their credit scores started getting boosted. We started wiping stuff off their credit report, and I'm like, yo, I know I can do this.
Welcome back to another episode of Attractive Mindset, and today's guest, complete dominant in his industry. Over 1,000 clients help, getting busy, getting ready, getting everything in order. When you talk about this man, you got to talk about the accomplishments, the amount of people that he's helped over the amount of time that he's done it. But I'm gonna let him tell you the rest of his story. We got GetsBusyRu.
What's going on, bro? Appreciate you for having me on the podcast. Dope setup. But yeah, a little bit about me. I started, credit repair services about 2 years ago. I've been in the entrepreneurship space for about 3 years. And before pretty much starting the credit repair service, I was in network marketing, and that pretty much like taught me the basics of business, teaching me how to like put me. It was the first time I was like put in uncomfortable situations. Like they put me in front of a bunch of different people to speak. So I started to develop those skill sets, started to network with different people, learned how to run a business, how to grow a business, how to market. And then once I stepped away from that, I pretty much started using credit a little bit more. And then I started my credit business. I got to the point where it's like, I feel like I could start helping people now with all the information that I learned. So I ran that for like last 2 years. Now I've just been acquiring assets like Airbnbs, car rentals, and different things like that.
Okay. No, this was a conversation that was, meant to happen, because we're like the biggest opposites on the planet. I utilize zero credit, to do everything. But we got like 3 buildings, we got a bunch of different cars, stuff the same way. And then, you have somebody that leverages credit, and there's both sides of the fence. We have 2 different ideologies. And so explain to them, because I never can in any of my episodes, why somebody would want to leverage credit.
So you said you started off with nothing. I started off with nothing as well. And I had no streams of income. There was a certain point where I had no streams of income. So it's like, yo, what could I do to really like create some type of motion for myself? And then I was on YouTube one day just researching, and then I came across a video that it was pretty much breaking down the power of 0% interest cards. So naturally I had good credit because my mom, she used to she had me on a trade line. She had me as an authorized user when I was young, when I was in college, high school, but I didn't really know about it. And then she had me download these different apps, and I created accounts on Credit Karma, Experian, and I seen I had a 700 plus score already. So I'm like, yo, let me see if I could do something with this. And then that video popped up on my screen on YouTube, and it taught me about 0% interest cards. And it was pretty much saying like, let's say I got approved for 10K. I can max out that card. Let's say it's on my business side, right? Not my personal side. If I max out that card, on the business aspects of things, it doesn't matter. Utilization doesn't really matter. It doesn't affect your credit score. So let's say I created an LLC and I got, approved for 10K. If I max out that 10K and the card's 0% interest, I wouldn't have to pay back a dime until that expires. That 0% interest expires. Usually it's 12 months, 15 months. So for that card, it was 15 months. So I was like, yo, I just got approved for 7K. I have no money, right? I don't have to pay this card back for 12 to 15 months. I know myself. Like, I have a tattoo that says bet on me. Like, I've always bet on myself. So I'm like, yo, I got 15K here. I got 7K here. I got 15 months to make something shake. Let me see what I could do. And then one of my boys, I look at him like a mentor. He was already into the Airbnb space. So he started teaching me different ways to make money with Airbnb. And I was like, yo, let me just start one. Help me out. I gave him some money, and then we set up our first Airbnb. Boom. And I used credit for that. So then I was just teaching people at first how to turn credit to cash. So that was what I was doing at first. And then I came into someone that was teaching me credit repair. I'm like, I bet maybe I can make this shake too. And then with the Airbnb, I profited over 15K within the first 4 months. So I been paid off the card. Now the rest of the money that I was making was my money. So I took that money and I'm like, let me start this real credit business. And then from there, we just started taking off.
Okay. No, I like that story. And so, as you know, this is called Attractive Mindset. And so we usually like to focus on like the backstories of how people really got to where they are, because we see the Instagram, everybody knows the actual story. I'm sure you've been on podcasts before, and we'll still get into some of those questions. But, you said it was your mom that put you as an authorized user. And so tell us a little bit about how that framed you to even get in that mindset.
Yeah, so authorized user is pretty much when you get to piggyback off of someone's credit. And when, let's say that person has a 750 credit score, you have no credit score at all. If I add you onto that authorized user, you pretty much inherit the credit history, and then what is it, the age too.
Mm.
So you get the age, and then you get the overall credit limit into your balance, all of that stuff. So you go from having no credit to now having a 700 or a 710 credit score, and it's like now you can leverage that to make yourself money. So just knowing the fact that I had a 700 credit score, it allowed me now to go on YouTube and look up different ways to make money off my credit. You feel me? If I had no credit score, I'd have nothing. You know what I'm saying? But due to the fact that I had that good credit score, I can now do some research. Okay, cool. How can you turn credit to cash? If I have a 700 credit score and I get approved for 8,000, how can I take that money out that credit card and start some type of investment? How could I liquidate my funds? So it pretty much just I went from nothing to something. You feel me? I used that education, that knowledge that I learned, and I turned it into some type of income.
Got you. And so not only did you get the authorized user from your mom, do you feel like you developed that kind of hustler mentality from her as well?
Yeah, for sure. My father was a big entrepreneur.
Okay.
My father, he owned a club, he owned food trucks and stuff like that. So ever since I was young, I was always just watching what he would do. He would pick me up after school. And this, like, I used to go to Boys and Girls Club. But before I used to go to Boys and Girls Club, he used to pick me up, and I used to sit in the back of his car, and him and his business partners, they used to just run plays. They used to go do different things for the truck. They'll go, promote flyers in the city, hand flyers out to people, stuff like that. Paste flyers like in front of stores. So I used to just see that from young. You know what I'm saying? So I guess that pretty much, that's where I got like the passion, the drive from, the hustling from. And then once I found like a foundation for myself, I applied all that I learned into my business.
Okay. And you from Massachusetts?
Yeah, I'm from Lawrence, Massachusetts.
Okay. And so you live out here now, or you still live out there?
Now I live in like the Boston area, but I come out here because I have 2 Airbnbs in Miami.
Okay.
So I'm always, constantly checking them in. I have cleaners and stuff like that, but sometimes if I want to come out here, I want to meet with some of my boys. Obviously, Miami is a great place to network and meet new people. There's different events. That's how I even got connected to you. I met Amari on that boat. You know what I'm saying? And I only came out here for that event.
Got you.
So sometimes I'll block out some of the dates on my Airbnb. I'll stay out here for a couple of days just to network and meet new people.
Okay. And so what do you feel like the market difference is between Boston and like a Miami?
I feel like Boston has a lot of money as well, but I feel like it's a lot of old money. Like the people out there, it's a lot of lawyers and like it's like a lot of different like businessmen, but they're not really in my age range. I feel like in Miami, when I come out here, there's people that's running it up 22, 23, 24, under 30. It's a lot of different people that I've already met that are running it up. So I like to come out here just to network with people that are around my age group.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so how did you meet somebody like Amari? Amari's that guy.
Yeah, he is that guy. That's crazy. When I met him on the boat, we ain't even talk much. He reached out to me on Instagram. So the way I met Amari, right? There was a boat event for entrepreneurs, and one of my boys sent me the invite, and the boy that sent me the invite didn't even make it himself. So I was like, yo, let me just go. Let me invite a couple of my friends. We got tickets. We went to the boat. And I realized like I seen Amari was running the event, but we didn't really speak much. I introduced myself. He gave me my name tag. I hopped on the boat, whatever. And before I left, I dapped him up. But then after I connected with one of the kids there, his name is Chris. And what Chris does, he does like little videos.
Interviews. Yeah.
He does little interviews.
My guy, Chris.
Yes, we interviewed me. And then off that interview, I guess Amari seen it and followed me, hit me up. He's like, yo, bro, you're killing it in the credit space. I love what you do. Let's connect. And we started talking, and then he connected me to you. And I got on the podcast before, so that just goes to show how powerful networking is, because if I didn't go to that event that day, if I didn't connect with Chris, if I didn't connect with Amari, I wouldn't be here today. You feel me? So
powerful. And so get us, introduce us to the story about how you really started to understand where you like, okay, this is something that I'm really going to just solidify myself in as like an expert, like a teaching expert.
Yeah. So like I said, I've always been a person that like, I'm a hard worker, you feel me? I'm always working hard. I'm always trying to learn new things every single day. I try to read, I try to write, and I try to listen, you feel me? So I'm always trying to take in new information. So it got to the point where I feel like I was learning so much. And then before I started, I had like a free trial. So I started off, I did like a spin the wheel, and I did like, it was like 30 participants that entered. And those 30 people, I gave them, credit repair, trade lines, whatever. It was just to get some type of testimonials, to get like some type of motion, get people to like start seeing like what I'm doing. And then I started to see like all those people started getting results. All their credit scores started getting boosted. We started wiping stuff off their credit report. And I'm like, yo, I know I can do this. So after that point, once I seen like almost out of like 30 people, like 27 of them seeing results, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm good. I feel like I got to the point where I can now charge people for the service, and I'm gonna do it at a great job. And then I hired VAs. So then I found people in different countries that I can pay them a small amount of money. I can teach them everything that I know, And I can now do things like come onto the podcast without having to worry about clients because I have VAs that can handle everything. They know how to do everything. They know how to send out certain letters. They know how to, reply to my clients. So now it's like I got to the point where I can do whatever I want. I can move around. I can do all these different things. I can go to events without having to worry and check my phone all the time. Because at first it was frustrating because it's a lot of people messaging me. You know what I'm saying? And plus, I told you I worked with over 1,000 clients. So think about like 1,000 people blowing up your phone. So it's like I have to find a way now where it's like it can't always be me. I got to find affiliates. I got to find people that I can work with. Got to hire some type of VAs. So I got into that. I'm going to pretty much like automated the business. Obviously, I still play part of it, part in the business. I don't want to say it's fully automated. There's certain things I have to check, certain things I still have to do. But I got to the point where it's like way easier now. And then just traveling to different events. I came out here for another event I was at. It was called Better Way 3 with Jay Monopoly. I don't know if you know him. I went to that event. I'm gonna be at Earn Your Leisure. It's called Invest Fest in Atlanta, August 25th. So I'm been going to a lot of different events, just taking a lot of information. I go to Circle of CEO events. So I'm always just making sure I'm around people that know more than me.
CEOs. I was there last year.
Yeah, I was there last year too, bro.
Okay.
Crazy.
Yeah, no, definitely dope. And so, what would happen, because what would happen if what is a scenario of something going wrong in credit repair?
I used to get nervous. So the way it works, I have a total of 4 rounds that I send in for every single client. So I used to get worried like after the second round when the client saw no results, because when it comes to the credit space, the credit bureaus don't get back to you as fast as you want them to, because so many people trying to dispute things off their credit report. You have to get at least anywhere from like 30 to 40 days. So every 30 to 40 days, we get results back for the client, and then we send in new rounds for that client.
Gotcha.
But it would come up to like 60 to 80 days where the client would see no results. And that's the second round going into the third round. So I used to get worried, the client isn't going to see results. What happens if I'm going to have to refund this client? Not everything is going to go well. But I started to realize like that third round was the strongest round for me based off like the way I set up my letters. That third round is going to be the strongest letter right there. So I started to realize that. I started to trust the process more, so I don't really panic anymore. I feel like when it comes to the credit space, I don't really deal with any problems. Like at first I did. Sometimes I would have so much clients coming in that we wouldn't send in letters for that client. We'd skipped him on accident. We wouldn't be able to get him his update on time because we'd have so much people coming in. But now it got to the point where I have enough people working with me. I know the process. Our letters got better. The whole system got better. Like I said, we hired more people, so now I don't really feel like I deal with much.
Okay. And how old did you say you were again?
I just turned 24 in February. Okay,
and so you being 24 and being on the level of business that you are, do you feel like older people in business look at you a certain type of way?
Yeah, 100%. That's a fact. People look at me weird all the time when I tell them my age. That's why I try not to tell people my age, because when they see I'm 24, they might not want to work with me. They might want to work with the older crowd. But I feel like I know just as much as like that older crowd, because like I said, I do a lot of research. Like after this, I'll sit on my phone. I'll probably look some things up, talk to a few people. So I'm always learning. So I know just as much as someone that's a little older than me. So it's cool. But yeah, I try to stay away from telling people my age.
Okay. And so what made you even want to get into like cars and everything like that?
My boy Eddie, he has a Turo business, so he was running it up. And what he would do is he'd find people that aren't making money or don't have enough money to pay off their car notes, and he would offer them like, yo, let me rent out this car on the weekends when you don't use it. I can pay off your car note, and then I'll take the profit over the top. So he was doing things like that. And then I just got a new Benz, and I had a CRV, so I'm like, let me see what's up with this CRV. I gave it to him. He started running it up. And he had an auction license, so he was able to get cars for us for the low, cheaper than what you could get it for at a dealership. So I was just like, yo, let me run that up. I seen him going crazy. Decided to give him my car. And then, yeah, that's pretty much how I got into that.
Do you have an automation process for like to send things to people on Instagram, join lives, webinars, things like that?
Yeah. I just started working on this thing. It's called ManyChat, where it's like, let's say, for example, I post a flyer and I say like, oh, DM me credit now to start, or comment credit now to receive an invite to this webinar. Anybody that comments credit, they're going to receive an automated message on where the call is, what time it's at. So ManyChat, it pretty much saved me a lot of time. And that's something I'm teaching one of my mentees as well.
Okay. And so when you do these type of things, do people, because they see, how old you might be, even if they don't know your direct age, like, oh, he's scamming?
My credibility went through the roof this past year. This was my best year. 2 years ago, People used to ask me all the time, is it legit? Is it a scam? But I have so much testimonials now. Like every day I have one person, at least one client, that's sharing their like my work on their story. Tap in with him, work with him. So like in my city, for example, like in the Massachusetts area, I'll never get anybody that asks me if I'm a scammer. Like I used to get it like every day. Are you sure it works? You know, if it doesn't work, can I get a refund? This and that. But I feel like I solidified my spot within the credit space, like especially within like the East Coast. Now usually when someone reaches out to me, they don't ask me that question no more. And on my page, I have testimonial highlights. I have like over like 500 different testimonials that people can reach out to and check. I have my website just dropped too with testimonials on there. I have ebooks that I'm giving away, a lot of different things to build my credibility. I feel like podcasts helped increase my credibility as well. Something like this, the interviews with Chris, running different events, touring. So all those different things helped increase my credibility to the point where like now I don't really get to ask those questions anymore.
Got you. Okay, cool. And so, who would you say is like an influence towards your credit repair styles? Because there's definitely a lot of people that call themselves, the credit king or the credit queen and things like that. So
him 500 for sure.
I knew he was gonna say that.
He's top dog. He got it. I can't hate. It's the truth. He got it right now. With recession proof, everything that he's doing. I went to his event. I went to one of his events in New York. And it was a dope event. And it just made me go harder. I just learned so much information at that event. And it's like I follow people that know what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? I follow people that are knowledgeable. And off that event, I knew he was a knowledgeable person. I spoke to him after the event. Definitely left an impact on me. And after that day, I just went crazy. So shout out to him. He got it for sure.
Okay. And so in building like your university or building your academy, what is your goal with that?
I want to be worldwide. I don't want to be just a person that's known like within the States or like on the East Coast. I want like when someone hears GetsBusyRu, like they know he's legit. They know where to find him. It's like a household name. You know what I'm saying? Like when you hear of a certain artist or you hear a certain actor, everybody knows that actor, everybody knows that artist. I want it to be like a household name like that, where it's like when you hear the brand Get Busy or when you hear GetsBusyRu, like it's credible. I want to work with him. I want to be someone like him one day. So that's my goal. And I'm trying to also impact as many people as possible. I'm looking to bring in different affiliates, different people that I can work with, that I can pay out, and help change their lives as well. I don't want to be the only person that's getting to it.
Okay. And so, starting from nothing, like you said, how is that interaction with your friends from, that you grew up with?
Usually the friends that I grew up with, we're all still pretty close, and I help them out all the time. Like for example, when I started my clothing brand, because what I do is I offer my clothing brand to clients after I finish the repair. After the process went well, I'll send them a message like, here's my clothing brand. If you want to support, and if you like the service, I'll give you this on discount. So what I used to do is I used to have, one of my friends handle that department when it comes to the clothing. And every time he would make a sale or every time someone would purchase a sweatsuit or a varsity jacket, I give them a percentage of that. So I try to just take them with me everywhere I go. Every time I try to make some money, I try to put them on a new plays and different things like that. But yeah, so the friends that I hang out with now, we've been through a lot. Like just throughout this entire journey, like my boy posted a video the other day on his Instagram. When we first started the Airbnb, like when we first started like our Airbnb process and things like that, we had a 5-bedroom crib in Connecticut. That's where we were staying at, and it was 5 of us, or I think actually it was 4 of us, or it was a 6-bedroom and it was 5 of us. Sorry, so we had an extra bedroom, and we was like, we seen one, like I said, I seen my boy running it up, and we're like, yo, let me just see if we can like list this, let's furnish this room right here. No one sleeps here, and let's put it on Airbnb. And we started off with that, and that room started going crazy. So we was like, I bet this could work. But we was just making it work. Like we came really from nothing. Like we used to like struggle to pay our rent. Our rent was only like $650. We used to struggle with that. So we're like, yo, let's just see if we can make something shake. And we just split the profit, and it would lower everybody's rent. So now instead of us all paying $650, we'd all pay like $350. You know what I'm saying? So it'd be cheaper for us. And then let's say one of my boys went back to Mass to be with his family for a couple of days. We're like, yo, let's rent his house. We put his on Airbnb. And then it came to the point where all of our rooms was on Airbnb, and we wasn't even allowed to do it. Like the landlord used to come, she used to knock on the door, complain. We used to tell her we'll take it down, and when she leave, we put it right back up. So we was just doing anything to pay the rent. That's how we like pretty much got into like getting money. And then they would come to a point where all our rooms was booked, and we had one room available. So we just bring all the beds in one room, and we'll just get out in there. And we have videos. It's like the funniest shit. Like going back and looking at it, it's just so funny. It's cool because it's like now like we're starting to get up. We're raising our levels.
Yeah.
And it's like you look back at like our Snap memories, you look back on all our stories, and it's like, damn, we was really hustling, like came from nothing, bro. So it's dope to see. I still hang out with all my friends. try to put them on a plate as much as I can, trying to make sure everybody eats. And I chill with everybody, you know what I'm saying? I still have good relationships with everybody. I try to keep good relationships. That's like what I value. I value relationships, you know? I try to talk to everyone. I check in all the time with all my friends, make sure everybody good. I try to help out as much as possible.
So what did you study in college?
I went to Southern Connecticut State. To be honest, I went to college just for football. I received a
Mm.
scholarship, a Division II scholarship. So I went to Southern Connecticut State University, and there was a major. They offered me a major. It was called Recreation and Leisure Studies, and it was pretty much studying like the business side of like traveling. But I went there. It was like the only reason I majored there is because they gave me like they reduced because if they had like a program where it's like if you're from another state and you go and you major in recreation and leisure studies, they'll cut you like your tuition in half.
Mm.
So I had a scholarship and then I did that. So I pretty much didn't spend no money in college at all. But that's the only reason I majored in that. I didn't really learn much, to be honest. I was like a knucklehead. I didn't really pay attention to school like that. It didn't really interest me. At the moment, I told myself I was gonna go to the NFL. So I used to work hard. I used to work out like 3 times a day, focus on football. Never really went out and stuff like that. But then once COVID hit, they canceled the football season and stuff like that. So if you're not playing football, you don't get a scholarship. So now I had to really pay for school. So I'm like, nah, I'm not doing this. So I dropped out. And then one of my friends, he invited me to a webinar,
Mhm.
and that was like the network marketing opportunity. So I got straight into that. And then I was always like well respected in the hood because of football.
Mhm.
Like I was like one of the first people to like earn a scholarship out of my city. So everybody knew who I was. I was on the newspapers and stuff like that. Everybody respected me, and I was always like a good kid. So that's where I gained my influence from at first, football. And then once I started network marketing, I ran that up quick because, like I said, everybody respected me. And I created like a big team and stuff like that. But yeah, I majored in recreation and leisure studies in college.
Got you. So do you feel like things would be different if COVID didn't happen?
Yeah, 100%. I feel like COVID either made you a hustler or it hurt you. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, I hear 2 stories of like COVID.
Mm.
Some people lost their jobs and went broke. Some people ran it up, went crazy. I was on that end that really just focused, locked in, ran it up. We had nowhere to go. We were stuck in the crib. I was actually stuck in Miami with like 4 of my boys.
Mm.
We was in a crib. It was like a penthouse, dope penthouse. And just seeing that's my first time in a penthouse. So just seeing that just elevated like my belief level through the roof, you know? So I seen that. I was just sitting there. I seen them going crazy on the phones, making phone calls, connecting with different people, closing deals. And I was like, yo, it reminded me like the Wolf of Wall Street, the movie.
Mm.
So I was there chilling. I'm watching this. And I'm like, I just felt crazy because it's like if you see everybody around you running it up, getting to it, running bands up, getting money, and you just sitting there watching, you're gonna feel uncomfortable.
Yep.
So I felt uncomfortable. I'm like, yo, I gotta do something. Yo, and I sat down, yo, teach me. I want to learn. Plug me in. They got me started within the network marketing industry. Created a team of over like 250 people within like 2 months. Went crazy. We started going to different events, speaking, and that's where I said I learned like my public speaking skills. I learned to interact and network with other people. And yeah, that's pretty much where I went with COVID and stuff like that.
Got you. And so what's your key points that you try to hit when you not only teach, but when you in front of a crowd and you speak to them? Like, what do you really want them to take from your conversation with them?
Just like the story, like the hunger, like I turn nothing to something, like you can too. A lot of people create excuses for themselves. I don't want you to create an excuse for yourself. I want you to use my story to impact you so you can go run it up too. Because I was someone where I was at a point when COVID hit and when I dropped out of football where I was a little lost. You know what I'm saying? And it only took a couple wise words. It took someone to speak to me in order to get me back on track. So I want to be that light for everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Like, because when you're speaking at a crowd, you have all types of people. You have people that are going through it. You have people that are succeeding. You have people that don't know where to go in life, don't know what the next step is. So it's like I try to like touch on that. I try to share my story. I try to share how I ran it up, how I started everything, just to impact that one person that could go crazy within that crowd. So that's pretty much like the key point that I try to touch. I just try to touch people through my story and show people that it's possible. No matter where you're at, you can find a way as long as you're consistent and dedicated.
And have you had any major, like what's the biggest major setback you feel like you've had in your business like that you like, damn,
man. So I was in the network marketing company, I was a certain rank. And the company was going well. But once like COVID, we kind of got out of that COVID state where people can start traveling now, people can start going outdoors more. It's like a lot of my team lost focus. Everybody started traveling more. People start, because if you're locked in the crib for 1 to 2 years, you can't really do much. When now everything starts opening up, the world starts opening back up, you miss the feeling. You're gonna go out, you're gonna have fun, you're gonna do all these different things. So like my team started to lose focus, you know. So that was a hard point for me, because now I started losing people in my business. People started leaving, doing other things. They started to get their jobs again. They started doing all these different things. So it's like I went from having 250 people to now having like 100. Business cut almost in half. So now it's like my income's cut short, and it's like now it's just like, yo, what can I do? So you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That was like a hard point within my business. And that's when I started to realize, like, I bet, like, I'm still doing good. I'm still making money, but it's like I want to start doing something that's more sustainable now, and something that I can make more money. So my mentor always told me, you want to find a big problem in the world, and then you want to come up with the solution. The bigger the problem is, the more money you make. So I wanted to find a problem that was worldwide that people had, and then I wanted to hit them with a solution. So credit, if you look at credit, like over 75% of people, like 1 out of every 3 people need credit repair. 1 out of every 3 people have some type of negative item on their credit report. So it's like, that's a big problem around the world. Now let me come up with a solution. That's when I started doing my research. And before you know, I took off with that.
And so where do you get that confidence from to, you know, be able to, it doesn't scare you going against like I don't know who you go against, the banks, the government. I don't even know what that process is.
I gain my confidence from sports. I feel like athletes, you're naturally put through more than the normal person. Like at the age 21, 22, I was already put through so many tests like the average person hasn't gone through. Like the average person might get punched in the face in life, and it's like now they don't know where to go. Like in football, you're getting punched in the face every single play. You know what I'm saying? You have your coaches yelling at you, get up. No matter if you're hurt, you're not hurt enough, you can still play. If you mess up, get up. They start yelling at you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's a lot of lessons that I learned through football. And it's like, that's where I get my confidence from. If I knew if I could excel on a football field, I could excel anywhere. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's why that natural, like any athlete that once they finish playing sports, I feel like they have the ability to go into any field and go absolutely crazy, because they've already gained that confidence. They've already went through so many lessons in life. They've been put through wars. You know what I'm saying? That they can go crazy within anything that they want to do. So that's pretty much where I get my confidence from. I knew, like, if I can survive on the football field, if I can excel on the football field, there's nothing in this world that can stop me. You know what I'm saying? I could go on and I could accomplish anything that I want to. So that's where I gain my confidence from. And I just applied that information, all those lessons learned, that confidence that I gained from football into any industry that I stepped in. And I attacked it the same exact way. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I went about it.
And where would you learn that information to really be able to go after these banks and tell them like, hey, no, you didn't do this correctly.
Yep.
You don't have this. You don't got this.
Yep.
Like, how do you really stand there and go toe to toe with them, not having any formal, you know, college or whatever training on that?
Just courses. I feel like online education is like that new like university. You know what I'm saying? There's so much different courses out there. There's a lot of different people that you can learn from that are going absolute crazy within their spaces. And like I said, I like to learn from the best of the best. So I would pay for mentorship. I would travel to events. I'd travel across the United States to learn from someone that knows more than me, that knows how to dispute certain things, that knows how to get certain accounts removed off your credit report, that they have certain letters. You know what I'm saying? So I was just investing in myself. I believed in myself. I had the confidence, had no knowledge. I had some type of income coming in from the network marketing business. And I said, let me put this income to use, because just sitting in my account is not going to really do much. So I just always invested in myself. If I have any money, let's put it into this. Maybe this can make me some money back. So I would go to different events. I would pay to hop on Zoom calls. I would pay for mentorship, and all that money just came back all the way, you know, because I believed in myself. I had no doubt in myself. Like I said, I bet on myself. Took all that information, applied it, and that's where I am now.
And so do you feel like your style, you know, based off of how you interact with things on Instagram or anything, reflects to certain people and either pushes business away or, you know, gravitates more business towards you?
Definitely gravitates more business. I try to be the person that people can relate to, because I come from nothing. I come from the hood. You know what I'm saying? I come from Lawrence, Massachusetts. Like anybody that knows Lawrence, there's not really much there. It's more bad than good there. You know what I'm saying? It is slowly starting to change, but it's more bad than good within the city. So like certain things that I post, it's like so people can relate to, like people know where I come from. You know, I dress a certain way, I act a certain way, I speak a certain way, and it's like people that come from where I come from, they know. You know what I'm saying? They want to work with someone like me because they know I've been in their shoes. They know I can relate. So it definitely brings more business, but I can also get professional as well. You know, like I've developed myself to a certain point where I can walk into any room and I can hold a conversation with anyone. you know?
Mm.
So it's like I get the best of both worlds, the professional side, but I can also relate to the hood. I can also work with people within the city, you know what I'm saying? I can help anybody out. So I try to market myself both ways. I might post a couple business posts. I might post myself in streetwear. I might post myself hanging out with certain people, hanging out in certain rooms. And I try to attract the best of both worlds within my marketing.
Copy. So you do a little bit of just advertisement, but you also do influencer marketing.
Absolutely.
And so in doing that, when you're teaching your mentees or you want mentees, like how long does that last? Like what's the whole process for that?
So for my mentorship, I mentor people. Let's say someone gets started with my mentorship program. I'd probably run anywhere from like 2 to 3 Zoom calls a week. And I'd be working with that client for the next 3 months. And then every single day, whether it's, let's say I'm hopping on a call with a client and I have them on the three-way, hearing how I speak to the client, how I close a deal, or just showing them in how I structure my letters, how I use my credit repair cloud, or how I dispute, inquiries off your Experian credit report within 24 hours. It's a step-by-step process that I walk everybody with. How I market certain things I look to post, how I attract an audience, how I build an audience. So it's a lot of different things that I do every single week, 2 to 3 calls, educating you, teaching you what I do every single day. My mindset, that's pretty much what the mentorship is for. I teach them my mindset on how I attack business, how I grow my business, how I scale the business, how I run the business, how to go out there and hire VAs to work for you so you can do the same exact thing that I'm doing. So 2 to 3 calls a week for 3 months. It should be good to do everything that I'm doing, maybe even better.
Copy. Okay. So what would be 3 key pieces of advice you would give somebody trying to get into credit repair?
I would say, one, learn the credit business. You don't want to be that person that is educating people on credit and you don't really know what you're speaking about, yourself behind closed doors. You also want to build your credit. You don't want to be a person that's trying to repair people's credit, offering all these services, but your credit is not where it's supposed to be itself. You know what I'm saying? And then 2, learning how to market and learning how to post, learning how to create an audience for yourself. You don't want to be a person that's just posting off of impulse. You want to create a structured plan for yourself. I'm going to be posting on this days. So for example, we just created a plan with one of my boys that helps me out all the time and stuff like that. And then for example, like Wednesday will be like a post day. Tuesday will be like a testimonial day where I'll post a client's testimonial. I have like a very strict structure. I'll post testimonials on one day. I'll post throwbacks like on Thursday. So I'll show people where I used to be, or like I'll post myself like working a job or like struggling at a job as opposed to where I am now. So people can relate. Like everything is like planned out. Everything is mapped out. I know what I'm supposed to do every single day when I wake up. I have an agenda. You know what I'm saying? Friday would be, what was Friday? Friday will be the day where I'm reaching out to new prospects because it's payday. So I'll be reaching out to new prospects or people that have inquired before, offering them some type of deals or some type of discount. So every single day is structured for me. So I'll be teaching people that structure. Monday, you're doing this. Tuesday, you're making, this type of post. Wednesday, Friday. So that's pretty much how I go about it when it comes to like the online space and like building some type of influence, attracting new customers into your business. I have an agenda that I go by.
Okay. And if you had to recommend one book to them, what book would you recommend?
Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. That book changed my life. That's like, I've read so many different books, but it's like I haven't read a book that stuck to me like Rich Dad Poor Dad has stuck to me. In that book, he pretty much has a dad, but his dad is poor. And then he goes to school, and one of his friends has they're wealthy, they're well off, and he has a rich father, and he builds a good relationship with the kid. He ends up working for the father, and he tells the father, I want to become rich. And the father is teaching him different ways now that he can go ahead and build wealth. He talks about real estate, a bunch of different opportunities that you can utilize to make yourself money. So that's like one of my favorite books. I'll reread that book. I'll listen to the audio. And then from that book, I actually even I started playing Monopoly with all my boys, and I got Monopoly from that book because he says like one of the keys to life is buying 4 houses and one red big hotel. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's something that's like from Monopoly. If you know, you know what I'm saying? When you buy 4 houses, you get a red hotel when you buy that 5th one. And then when people land on your property, they pay rent. So it's like that's like almost like a key, that game is like a key to life. So like I play that game with all my boys all the time. Like when we're bored, we play Monopoly. All of us will compete, and we're just learning different ways like to purchase property. That's like what I want to get into next. Like aside from the Airbnb space, I want to start owning real estate. You know what I'm saying? So I can start building equity, selling it. You know what I'm saying? Investing into different houses and things like that. So that's my favorite book right there, Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. If you haven't read that, 100% recommend you read that book. It changed my life.
And so with the Airbnb properties that you have, you own them or you renting them out just to rent them out?
Yeah, I'm subleasing them.
Okay.
So I'm paying rent. Let's say I pay 2,500 for one unit. Um, I'll rent it out 150 a night, 160 a night. Let's say it gets booked out for 20 days. Let's say I make $4,000. 2,500 goes to the rent. I profit what's rest the money that's left over. And then I also have Airbnbs within different areas. So for example, let's say Miami. There's a point where in the summertime, for example, Miami starts to slow down on bookings because that's when people are actually taking real vacations to, like, Mexico or the Dominican Republic or Puerto Rico. They're going elsewhere. So Miami might slow down a little bit. People don't travel as much out here. People are still traveling, but they might stay with a friend or something like that. Like, I know, for example, my Airbnb doesn't get the most bookings in the summer, so I have Airbnbs more down the East Coast, let's say near New York or in Connecticut, where, let's say, Miami slows down, I can still profit now in New York or Connecticut, and that makes enough to pay both rents and then still profit. So
How many doors do you have?
how many doors?
Yeah, well, houses.
So I have, they're all units. I have 3 units right now.
Okay.
Yeah. So I have 2 in Miami. I have 1 in Connecticut, and I'm working on getting another one in Connecticut right now too. So I have 3 units, looking to get 4. So
So is there a reason why you have them in other markets and not where you live?
um, in Boston, I know you need licensing for it.
Okay.
I haven't sat down and got the licensing myself for it. The unit in Boston, so I haven't really acquired it in Boston. I recently did try to call a building in Boston that they said they did allow it, but within that building, when I called, they said they didn't allow Airbnb, and it's starting to get a lot more strict. So it's like you really got to do your research now. That's why I pay for mentorship and courses, because there's people out there that know how to finesse certain units, or they have partnerships or agreements with certain units that will allow you if you pay them a certain amount. So Boston is really tricky out there. But I have property managers and things like that. Everywhere I have an Airbnb, I have a whole system set up. So I don't even have to be there. I have people that are going to clean everything. They're going to send me pictures after the cleaning. They have an extra spare key to get in, get out the units. And it's like, after you develop a certain relationship with that property manager, it's like they treat that unit like it's theirs now. If something is broken, they want to take care of it, or they get mad at the fact that something's broken. So all my units are well off. Like right now, I have someone, as we're on this podcast, I have a check-in today at 3 p.m. I had someone go clean the unit at 11 a.m. I'm saying? The guest checks out 11. My cleaners come at 11:30. They clean from 11:30 to like 2:30. That unit is ready to go. When that guest wants to arrive at the unit, they have check-in instructions. They have picture check-in instructions on how to get in, how to get out. I don't have to conversate with no one. It's just running.
That's beautiful. So you have definitely the linear income and you have some residual income set up.
Absolutely.
And so would you say, since he's your influence, you have recession-proof business models?
Absolutely. 100%. When I'm working with different affiliates and I'm working with different people, I don't just teach them credit repair. I also teach them a certain amount of money to save on the side. And once they reach a certain goal, it's like, cool, now we're investing. You know what I'm saying? So I tell usually my clients, every time you close a deal, put 30% of that aside. You know what I'm saying? And they're going to put that money aside. And then once we have a certain level of capital, for taxes set aside, we have a certain level of capital for investments, we're going to go ahead and we're going to, get a unit. I'm going to teach you how to get a unit now. I'm going to teach you how to get a car so we can put it within our fleet, and you'll get 70% of every time it gets booked. You know what I'm saying? So it's different investments that we got going.
And that's super important. So do you have something set up to specifically teach people how to be financially literate? Because they're building credit, they can get, you can get them approved for 100K, 200K, but if they don't have a whole company that's going to pay back that 200K, then what's going to go on?
Absolutely. And we're actually working on an app right now. We're working on an app with a few of my business partners, and it's pretty much all focused on financial education. So we're looking to drop that within like the next couple of months. We're still working on it, making sure everything is good. But this platform, that's literally what it's for. It's like for financial education. Because when I was first starting off, we were getting people funded, but people were getting funded and they was blowing the bag, and now they're in debt. You know what I'm saying? And seeing that, it's like, we got to do something. We got to make sure people are financially literate. And I came from a company where we taught financial education, financial literacy. So I already knew what I was doing when it came to income. You know what I'm saying? Like when I get money, I know what I'm doing with it.
Yeah.
But now it's just, we're teaching people how to do the same exact thing. And when the app launches, it'll be way easier for everybody.
Yeah, we might definitely have to bring you down here. We're going to open up a building in Wynwood.
Oh, yeah?
Basically targeting that financial literacy, and in doing that, we want to frame the Black community,
Absolutely.
almost like Black Wall Street. But again, I'm from the hood too, and so I'm a little more rugged, definitely have that more subtle vibe, but to teach the essence of people how to build something from not only nothing, but to do it with or without credit, or just have that kind of pathway, and so working out like speakers, everything like that. And if you say you got an app coming out, definitely want to drop, some links for that, because
Absolutely.
a lot of people that watch this show, a lot of people that want to get into this show are people that are beginner entrepreneurs, people that want to start a journey somewhere or don't know where to start. And so having different guests on here to just not only tell their story from the back end makes it more relatable. I didn't want to just have another business podcast, and just you telling your story definitely means a lot. You taking the path that you took, doing everything different, because we might have some people that come on here and have the same background of profession, but their stories be completely different.
For sure.
And that's definitely what it takes. And so, what other plans do you have planned for the rest of 2023?
I'm looking to buy my first property before the year ends.
Okay.
So I've been stacking, I've been saving everything that I've been making.
You buying it out here?
Looking to.
Okay.
Looking to. It's a goal I'm working towards. Definitely, I'm not far from it. I've been working a lot, working hard. And I've been investing a lot of money like into the business, So it's like when I invest more, I usually make more. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's marketing, whether, like I said, it's traveling, different things like that, usually make more. So by the end of the year, that's a goal that I want to knock off my bucket list.
I feel like you would really be good at land flipping. Have you ever heard about that?
Yeah. One of my boys does stuff like that.
Yeah, Jeff. Shout out to Jeff. Shout out to Land Flipping Empire. They're going crazy right now out here in this market. They have over 100 students themselves in their academy. And basically, I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah.
He came on and he was like, yeah, I do real estate wholesaling, but not the typical real estate. And, they get these vacant lots and they push them off, and it's crazy. Definitely a story. I definitely want to connect y'all at some point.
Absolutely.
But hey, Ru, I appreciate you coming on here and telling your story, telling everybody your story, and tell people where they can find you at.
Yeah, for sure. Appreciate you for having me, bro. Dope podcast.
Thank you.
Definitely want to come back. Definitely gonna tell a couple of my friends about it. I have a couple entrepreneurs that are looking to get some type of spotlight as well. I feel like this is the perfect space for it. But my Instagram is GetsBusyRu. You can find me there. Follow me. I have a lot of content you guys can go through. If you guys do need any type of credit help, you're looking to improve your credit, whether it's credit repair, you're looking for a boost within a trade line, you're looking to remove inquiries, or just simple education, you can definitely reach out to me on Instagram at GetBusyRu. And I have a website in my bio as well that you guys can scroll through and learn different things as well.
And what would it take for somebody to join your mentorship? Are you looking for specific people, or?
I'm not looking for specific people. I mean, honestly, just someone that's willing to work. I don't want to work with someone that says they want mentorship and they can't make the calls, or they always have an excuse, or they're busy. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're looking for mentorship, you have to be able to lock in. You have to be determined. You have to want it for yourself, because I can give you as much information as possible. If you're not going to put it to use, it's not really going to benefit. So pretty much just someone that's hungry, someone like me that comes from a rough city that's looking to, take off, that has actual goals and aspirations. Definitely willing to work with someone like that.
Now, most definitely. Hey, again, we appreciate Ru for coming on the show. Definitely like, share, subscribe. And as we always say, we look good, we live good, life is good. Talk to us, we talk back. We out of here.